Welcome back to Small Space Living Integrity Farms. Today we're going to show you how to make an automatic poultry watering system. Stick around as we get into this. It's really cool.
Going down to Integrity Farms, gonna leave my woes behind. So come on down to Integrity Farms and meet some friends of mine.
First, if you have not, please hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up. That helps the video get shared out here on YouTube. Also, if you think this video will help others, please feel free to share it out with anyone, Facebook, or whatever the case may be. These videos are always free to share out. Thanks for doing that. Okay, so now I'll get into the items that you will need to make this automatic water system. So the first thing you'll need is some PVC. We've got some 2-inch pipe here. You can make it as big as you want. It doesn't matter. There's no size restriction. Something else you can also use is a 5-gallon bucket, and I'll probably do a few like that later on, but for now we're doing these PVC 2-inch, and that's so we can put them in our chicken run so that the chickens can have water in there. And you can maybe hear them hollering at here a little bit. They have started to crow and they're very proud of it. So the other thing you will need is 2 ends, and these are just end caps. You want to go on the top, and you'll be able to take it on and off as you need to fill it up with the water that you're going to need. The other one you will actually glue on to the bottom. And that way, just so the water won't spill out, but it is better to glue it so it's a permanent fixture. And then, of course, you will need some PVC glue cement. That way the stuff won't come apart. And once you got it glued back together, this stuff works great. We've already made a couple of these, so this stuff does not let loose once you put it on. And then the last thing you will need will be your drill. And actually, with the watering cups I'm going to show you, they do send this drill bit, so this is the actual drill bit that you will need, and we'll talk more about that here in just a few minutes. But to get things started, we actually did start with these right here. So these are the watering cups that we had, and as you can see inside, it has this little yellow valve that basically the chickens have to learn to peck down in order for more water to come into it. And you know, if your chickens don't learn how to do that, then these cups are useless. We actually have 2 of these. We paid $10 a piece for them at Tractor Supply, and the product's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that our chickens never could figure out to actually push this down to get more water to come in. So for us, that was a big problem. But again, very easy to put on. You just put some tape on the back here, and you just screw it in. You're good to go. Pretty much that's it. If you do have a little leak, you can put some Flex Seal on it or something like that. But we just did not like these. For one, for the cost, they were very expensive. So $10 for 2 of these was very, very expensive compared to what I'm getting ready to show you. So overall, a decent product, but very expensive, and for us just did not work because our chickens just did not take to the little valve thing there. But what we actually ended up using were these right here, and these are gravity fed by water. And so basically what happens is, as the water comes in, it just pushes it down, so it'll shut it off. But as long as there's water in it, no more water, it won't let it overfill. But as soon as it starts running out, it'll automatically fill it in. So for our chickens, worked out great because they didn't have to learn that little thing in the middle there, the little water valve. So that was a whole lot better. Also, what I like about this, and I'll put these side by side, as you can see, this cup is a lot bigger than the ones that we got from Tractor Supply. So we actually got these off of Amazon, and I will put a link down below for anybody who's interested in them. They costed, I think it was $11.50 for 6 of them, where these were $10 for 2. So as you can see, a whole lot better price deal as well. And then the other piece that I like is that this does have a actual screw-in thing for the back, and it's got a gasket here to keep it better sealed. So I like that a whole lot more, but just the simplicity of it was what I really like. So highly recommend these over the Tractor Supply brand. And again, I will have the link to Amazon down in the description below for these exact ones. So, and that you can get them, you can order more, and they're a little bit cheaper as you go too. So, you know, you can order less and they're a little bit more expensive, or you can order more and they're cheaper. So it's all based on the quantity that you order. But 6 was, I think, $11.50 or $12.50. So, but you'll see it at the link below. So now, with all that said, I will show you how quick you can make one of these. They are very, very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the PVC pipe, and something that you do want to remember, because you do got to be able to screw this inside of this pipe. You don't want to go up so far that you can't get this back piece on there. So What we'll do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to drill a hole in somewhere right here, about an inch or two up. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the camera or not, but I'll drill it and I'll show you what the hole looks like. So there again, you can see, very simple to do. That's what the hole's going to look like right there. So once I got this done, I'll set the PVC back down. I'm just going to pop off this little back valve here, or back screw. So then this is just going to screw into this. Well, and you can see it really just pops in there because you're really going to be tightening it down. If it's a little bit tighter, you may have to screw it, but that one just kind of popped right in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little valve and I'm going to slide it down in this pipe, and I'm going to turn this way because this part is a little bit tricky. You kind of got to get it started. So now I've got it started on the screw in part. And basically what you want to go for is until this thing is pretty flush, and you'll see the little white seal piece there kind of start spreading out a little bit, but overall not too hard to do. So that's all there really is to it right there. And again, you know, the same thing with the other one. I mean, if we did notice it leaking, so far we've not had any of these leak, and we've done 2 of them, but if you notice it leaking, you can spray a little bit of Flex Seal. But what I like about this is when it's empty, you can kind of see it's in this. So if your whole tube is empty, you'll see this water cup in this up position. And then as soon as you start to fill it, you'll see it go to more of a down to almost level position. So that helps out a lot too, just to notice when it's empty. But now that we've got that on there, so again, once we put water in here, your top's going to go right there. You know, straight simple like that, just so the water don't come out at the top. But now I'm going to go ahead. So all I'm going to do is put some of this cement glue around the inside edge right here. And then I'm just going to run it around. Probably get a little bit too thick. I'm bad for that. So that's all it looks like right there. And then I'm just going to pop this piece on here. And typically what I do is just take and bounce it off the floor, bounce it off the ground or something like that. And there you go. So now you just want to let this piece set here for probably a couple of hours to let that glue completely seal up. And then we will come back and show you us installing this into the chicken coop and exactly what it looks like. Okay, so now we're back to show the final part of this install, and that's just putting it in the chicken coop. So all you need is a drill. We're going to use a couple of wood screws with the wood bit in that just comes in my set. We are going to use this Plumbers Tape, which I will say is awesome for everything. Jessica actually found this stuff, and this stuff is awesome. I'll put a link to the Amazon. I'll put an Amazon link down below to this stuff as well. And I will say, if you're going to be hanging anything, this stuff is awesome to use, and you'll see it here in just a second. So with ours, we got to rig this up a little bit. And something else I'll show, you will have to have a pair of tin snips if you want to cut that Plumbers Tape, because it is made out of tin. So that's something else to keep in mind. Just want to show all the tools that we're using. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this thing up here. And you can kind of see we're setting it on top of one of the railings here in the coop, or in the run. I'm going to get an idea where I'm going to put this at. Too many screws out. Put that there. So now I'm going to go ahead and run a screw in, if I can get it. And normally Jessica would be helping me with this, but since she's holding the camera, she can't. So basically, you just want to make sure you get it pretty snug there, because you don't want this thing to move any once you got it on here. We'll go ahead and throw in the second screw. So now there's the second screw in. Now the bottom for us is going to be a little bit different. We can't use screws because it's going into wire mesh. One of our chickens is talking to us. So basically all we're going to do is just tie it together here with a couple of screws and get down what we can. So I'm going to take this, if you'll let me have the other screw so you can see what we're using here. All right, and then you can go to the other side and we'll try to show this as good as possible. I'm gonna put out the little tripod and hopefully that is showing up. There we go. So I'm gonna push this first one through. So now basically we're just using washers and bolts to do this with just because of the screen. So just for this example, we will get it hand tight. And we'll come back later and crank it down with the ratchet set. So as you can see right there, that's what we're doing. We're just kind of bolting it in, and I think I cut this one a little bit too short, but overall it's still going to work. Sorry for the light, we got rained on and we had to wait for this thing to dry, so by that time everything was kind of gobbed up on us a little bit with the weather. But hopefully that's coming through. You can see the chickens are curious about what we're doing. So now the next step is just to pop this top off. So now I have the top off. I've got Jessica bringing some water in here. So we'll let her dump it in. So as she starts dumping it in, as soon as it gets across that line, you'll start seeing it coming through. Hopefully you can see some water coming in there now. And now you're kind of seeing it leveling out as it fills up. And then up here you can see our water's at the top. We'll throw our lid back on. And there you have an automatic water feeder. I would say actual put together time, this takes about 20 minutes to do the whole process, but because you got to wait for it to dry, that does take a little bit longer for that glue, so that takes a couple hours. But actual work time about 20 minutes, and that is it. Then you have an automatic water feeder, or automatic water system I should say.